Good morning and welcome to Backyard and Beyond. This morning we have Ann Pross with us, Director for Iowa Western Community College Atlantic Campus. And good morning to you, Ann.
Good morning.
Well, Ann, you always have, of course, many things going on. Classes for credit, classes for non-credit, so on. But what we want to talk about today is scholarships. And I know you have an event coming up here real soon that's a fundraiser for scholarships. So let's talk about that first before we talk broader scholarships.
Great. It's a great way for the community to get involved as well. And our scholarship event is called Jazz and Wine. And this is the third year that we'll hold this. And first of all, I just got to thank our committee. Good group of people that help us put together. But what it is just an evening of fellowship here at Iowa Western. And great music. The jazz music is actually provided by an ensemble of the musicians from Iowa Western. So it's not dedicated solely to jazz, and they'll even take requests. So that's kind of nice. And then we have great wine hors d'oeuvres, which are provided by Stephanie Brown. She's an Iowa Western Culinary Arts graduate, so that's neat to be able to tie in her skills into it, and then lots and lots of desserts as well. So it's a great evening.
Who makes the desserts, Ann?
Well, as you know, I love to stir, and so thankfully people like to eat. And so last year I think we had about 27 desserts here that night, so it was great. I have to owe that to my mom, who came down and helped me.
So if you don't think one looks like you'd like it, man, there's lots of others to choose from. And probably the same with wines, that you have a selection of wines.
That's exactly right. And there's a nice selections of those wines here as well that evening. And we encourage people to come. There's obviously non-alcoholic beverages as well. And it's really more about supporting the folks that are from our county and in their scholarship endeavors. You know, many of our students, actually about 80+% at Iowa Western qualify for financial aid. So that means there's a lot of students who have a lot of financial needs that are trying to better their lives through education. And what an honorable effort. And to be able to assist them with scholarships are so key. And our scholarship fund is dedicated solely to an individual who permanent residency of Cass County. So they could be on the Council Bluffs campus or here on our campus or anywhere else, but that their permanent residence be a Cass County address.
And what percentage of your students do you know are fit in that category? Because like you say, you have students that come from all over to come here, but there are, of course, a lot of Cass County students too.
You know, and that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that one in between the two, or all the different campuses and locations. That'd be interesting. You know, Iowa Western serves about 9 counties is what they call our territory, but of course we far reach beyond that. And Iowa Western has been very, very fortunate in the fact that we've been in a tremendous growth phase. Right here at this campus, we've had about a little over 350% growth since 2005 when we moved into this facility. And that's really awesome to be seeing students who are actually, you know, they are changing their life course. And that's a pretty impressive thing for students to do.
And, you know, we used to think of college students as being 18, maybe 19. Not anymore.
No, we have students of all ages and probably more non-traditional students here at the Cass County campus maybe than the traditional students. So any age, no matter what, certainly, you know, to follow a dream through education is something that, you know, we encourage our students to do. And that's when they thrive as a student as well and gain that confidence. And it's really neat to see these people blossom in their confidence in their skills and their knowledge, and then to be able to translate that into being a really productive employee out in the workforce.
And there are lots of opportunities for funds, and that doesn't have to be paid back necessarily. That's kind of nice to know that there are some of those. And you've mentioned this one fundraiser that's coming up real soon on March 6th. So where else do your funds come from for scholarships?
And for scholarships, it's many of the businesses who participate for our Cass County program. So we want to thank all those folks who do that, because that's really the meat of the resources that are brought together for this event. But many students reach out to a wide variety of different resources to gain their scholarships, and we encourage them to do that, no matter what institution they're going to. Probably one of the very first steps we always encourage everyone to do is to fill out their FAFSA, and that's through the federal government. And you really need to have your 2010 tax taxes completed. You can do it on an estimated basis, but it can cause trouble if you do it that way. So we're encouraging everybody to get your taxes filed, and when you have that information, then complete your FAFSA. Now, you're going to be doing your 2011-2012 academic year, and then you can release that to whatever school you want to release that to or institution. Just because you release that information to them, that doesn't mean that you are committed to going to that institution. That's probably one of the prime things. So if you're considering Iowa Western and another institution, release it to both. And what that does is it generates the process of paperwork to say what your awards would be at that institution. Because that gets you into your Pell Grants, which is the awesome money, the money that you don't repay. And that's all put together really, by our citizens in investing in the citizens and in the future generations of leadership. So we encourage everybody to apply for that. That also gives you access to the different types of student loans, which again, we encourage students only to take out a loan if you really, really need it. But for those students, that's oftentimes is the case. And there's a couple different types of student loans. One's called a subsidized loan, and that's a loan that does not earn interest while you're a student. As long as you're taking at least 6 credits on any given semester, summer doesn't count, but fall or spring, then that one does not earn interest on that one. And there's also an unsubsidized one where the student does not have to make any payment on it, but it does earn interest once it applies to your account. So a couple different options there. So also we want to encourage people to look for grants and scholarships through the iowacollegeaid.gov too, because that can reach you into a kind of another realm of grants. And it does take a little bit of time, but if you consider that if you are fortunate enough to be able to receive one of those, that's a pretty good return on your investment at a time. Probably the things that I would encourage if you're filling out a scholarship is really reaching out and answering the question that that application is asking for. Oftentimes, I know with our review committee, is not that they're looking for a 4.0 student. They're looking for a student who is really working hard at achieving their academic goal and is also involved in the community and involved in the area. So I think their answers don't have to be long or very lengthy. Just be to the point of what the question is. And sometimes I think students, you fill out so many scholarship applications, you want to cut and paste just a little bit. I would just encourage people to take your time and do an individual application for everyone that you're looking at wanting to receive.
Yeah, some of the scholarships are provided by people who are looking for certain kinds of students who want to study or do something special. And I think there's lots of money out there, but sometimes the niche is pretty narrow. But if you happen to fit, you can get a nice scholarship. So you need to be sure to look at those niches that are there and what they really want to do. And I guess if you don't fit, move on to the next one.
That's exactly right. And, there's lots of good resources right within our own community. So, don't hesitate to reach out to those organizations that might be providing those resources. Some of them, like you said, have qualification guidelines. And if you don't, you're probably better off spending your time on another one if you don't exactly qualify into that. But a lot of our service organizations in our area do provide scholarships too. So reach out to those.
And that's another opportunity for our local organizations. I see BPW is providing some scholarships, and maybe we can encourage some other groups. You don't need to provide thousands and thousands of dollars. Sometimes $50 would help a student with something. So I just think we need to encourage lots of organizations to take a look at when they're spending money. Maybe a scholarship would be a way to go.
And it's a great resource, and I tell you, I see it firsthand. Students appreciate the assistance. And many of these students, dollars and cents are very, very tight for them. So sometimes, textbooks can range in the $100 to $200 plus range. So any help with that, not only tuition, but books, are always, always appreciated.
Okay. So we have these local Cass County scholarships, but there are many other sources. Now, you mentioned the one website. Are there some other websites that you would encourage folks to go to if they're looking for a scholarship?
Yes, Iowa Western on our financial aid page of our website has actually listed 4 or 5 different organizations of which they provided a link right into them, and they find that those are been reputable websites where folks are being doing applications and receiving awards. So want to encourage everyone to just check that out. Go to IWCC, you can go to prospective student and then financial aid, and then right down at the bottom of that page I think there's 4 or 5 different other other sites that they need to do. And then Iowa Western has geared our scholarships through one application. One application through Iowa Western gets you into the plethora of variety of different scholarships. So that's really nice because that gets you into our pool of scholarships. It gets you into pool of scholarships over on the Council Bluffs campus. And what they do is they will, you can only be awarded one of those scholarships. However, they will help to hone your application into a field that is most applicable for you. So, there's some that are specifically for nursing or some specific for Cass County or a wide variety of different things. I think last year, out of all the different resources via Iowa Western's award pool, Cass County residents had nearly $20,000 in scholarship awards. So that's really awesome, and obviously that is greater resources than we can raise from our single event here, and that's wonderful that our residents really get to leverage those dollars and put them into their education through events and activities that happen on the Council Bluffs campus to create scholarship sources too.
Okay, we've mentioned websites, but if you have questions, be sure to stop by and see Melissa or Ann to get more information because you have printed information here. We want to thank you very much, Ann Prost, Director of Iowa Western Community College Atlantic Campus, for just kind of bringing us up to date on scholarships. Until next time, here's a thought. Blowing out the other person's candle won't make yours shine any brighter.